Thank you for staying with us. Now we're moving to a very interesting and concerning conversation here. Fresh concerns emerging over reports of xenophobic attacks in South Africa, with growing calls for stronger protection of foreign nationals and decisive action against violence. Now, Nigeria has reacted to developments, stressing the need to safeguard citizens living and working in South Africa, while urging diplomatic engagement and accountability. Now, the situation has also placed renewed attention on the role of the African Union in promoting unity, protecting human rights, and preventing tensions among African states. Now, joining us via Zoom from South Africa to discuss this is organizational development and human capital strategist Oscar Emetui. Good morning, Mr. Oscar. How are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, Nigeria.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for joining us on TVC Breakfast Saturday. Now we're talking about the xenophobic situation that has actually been on for a while now. First of all, I want to ask, how are you doing? I hope you're safe, and I hope, all is well around you.
Yes, I'm fine. I'm well and I'm safe. I would say everything is quite different from how it's been projected out there in the media, but for now, we are safe and everything is well with us.
Okay, great. So let's talk about the history of xenophobia that has been happening in South Africa now. What would you say, based on your experience being there, living there, the causes and the triggers? What would you say is the reason for this? And also, what is re-triggering this situation happening right now?
What has been happening is we understand that the first outbreak of xenophobia happened in 2008, and ever since it keep reoccurring 2019, and again here we're having all of this. I also understand, but once I try to get into this conversation, I like to have a very balanced conversation. Let's not forget that South Africa, especially the Black South Africans, are coming from a very deep history, which nearly everyone in Africa do understand the struggle during the apartheid era. And as a result of this, 30 years into democracy, there were promises made. And it just seems like the promises are not happening. As a result, the people are feeling frustrated. Now, I always say that behind the protests we see is a deeper reflection of people that are frustrated with the systems, with leaders who seems not to be accomplishing everything they were told. And again, now when you now turn, you are seeing foreign immigrants that are contending or contesting with what you now have, the limited resources that is available. Now, when people complain to the authority and it seems like the government are not hearing or are not able to do what they promise, the people transfer this aggression, because what we see can only be described as a misdirected aggression or frustration on people, in my opinion, have zero bearing on the promises that were made to them and the lack of service delivery that they're not seeing. Now they transfer that aggression. This has been the trigger. And again, we have been dealing with increased crime, corruption, and the whole things that are happening, poor service delivery. So these are the triggers that the people are asking their leaders to please address. Of late, immigration, undocumented foreign nationals become the big deal here. And for some reason, they feel the government is not doing enough. I'll leave it at this. This is just a few triggers and the kind of history that have led us to where we are. But like I said, I speak from a lived experience. Personally, I have enjoyed hospitality in South Africa. They are kind people. And but again, we still have isolated few that probably are championing this xenophobic hatred across the country.
Yes, we have to put some things in perspective. I mean, there's no country in the world that doesn't have foreign nationals there and profitably engaged doing one job or the other. like you rightly said, this looks more like transferred aggression. So how come nobody is pushing the average South African towards the right direction and say, look, if you are not happy, then talk to your government, engage your government, and leave the foreign nationals? And mostly, the reason is economic. Why is it so?
It is so, like I did say, it is so because politicians everywhere, or let's not just say politicians everywhere, you have leaders that are failing in keeping up to their electorate promises. And let's not also just forget that what is happening is not just unique to South Africa, though xenophobic may not be what the rest of the continent or any other part of the world may be experiencing. I always look at it from the angle of that this is one of their challenges, or one of the challenges that they are dealing with right now, which is unique. Challenges are unique to every country or leaders across the globe. From our perspective, we feel that what needs to be done, like you rightly said, is channeling the aggression to authorities where you know they hear you and can rightly address it. For example, the issue around undocumented immigrants or foreign nationals in the country. Foreign nationals are not the ones who are going to fix it. It's the authority. And from the last time I hear, the Minister of the Department of Home Affairs, they came up with a new revised immigration law. I believe, in their opinion, they are doing this. Maybe the pace at which it is being done, that's what gets the people frustrated. So let's not just look at it from the angle of, we talk at the diplomatic level, for example, countries express their anger, and it's widely understood why the rest of Africa feel the way they feel. We mustn't just forget, I was a part of those who paid, the Nelson Mandela tax. We knew all of this, that Nigeria as a country and the rest of the other continents supported. So it's genuine. However, the people are feeling frustrated. They feel they're not heard. There's increased systemic issues that just feel not to be addressed. Like I mentioned, crime is on the increase, corruption here and there. So when they feel frustrated now, a foreigner has become the easy target. I think this is just what is happening here. But again, we'll be asking, please channel this to the authority that can actually address the issues.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. I mean, I hear you talking about, the economic frustration. But then again, we know Nigerians in Nigeria also, we have certain issues, right? And even over there as well in South Africa, the people you're talking about, the people who the aggression is directed as, Nigerians, other Africans as well. And I'm thinking, these people leave their countries to actually come and set up businesses, and they're running their businesses. I don't believe, from your experience, would you say you've witnessed any aggression in the way these businesses are being run? Probably just a way to justify this violence and aggression targeted towards them. Because if I'm running my business as a foreigner in your country, I'm just trying to make money and literally make ends meet as well. So is there any action that you say, okay, fine, because this national is running it is affecting us directly from getting these jobs or from setting up our own businesses?
That's really not the case. And I wouldn't want us to look at it from just a nationality angle. Nigeria is not just the only foreign nationals in South Africa. We do have a couple of other foreign nationals that work, do business, contribute to the economy. However, we also know that perhaps nothing happened in vacuum. There's always a trigger, and one of them, like I did mention, is increased crime. There are good foreign nationals in the country, but we also have a few that are into crime.
So would you say the increased crime is by the foreign nationals there?
No. When it comes to criminality, it has no nationality, it has no race, it has no color. So anyone, including even the local South Africans, they too also commit crime. But you as a foreign national, or let me say, if you are a local and maybe you can excuse wrongdoing of yourselves or your citizen, but when you now see not one, not two incidences of people that comes into your country and are not respecting the rule of law. In one of my interviews, I did highlight it. There was this Nigerian cult group that were shooting randomly on the street, fighting, similar to what happened in Dubai. That raised another uproar. Why are you guys doing this? Why? Because you cannot just pull out a gun in the middle of the street and be shooting. Like I said, these are some few issues. So it's not just like South African wakes up, attack businesses. I run business in South Africa. I contribute to the economy. Somehow we have a few other locals that we also employ within our space. We've never been attacked. And I wouldn't sit here to say because I've not been a victim, and then, no, we won't condemn crime. Our message has been that no one has the right to take the laws into their hands. No one should encourage mob justice in a functional democracy. However, these are some of the growing concerns. They have people undocumented in the country, and they are feeling, how are these people here? Or like I said, the root cause is just what needs to be addressed. Systemic leadership that needs to be improved on, rather than allowing the people get frustrated with what they're seeing and then take the law into their hands. None of this can be supported.
Yes, this particular thing is personal to me. I have somebody in South Africa that is quite close and very well loved. So you can imagine how I'm feeling right now. And the documentation process of foreigners in South Africa really runs slow, and it takes months and months and months and so much money to get the correct documentation done. But the xenophobic attacks and so on are becoming an African problem, not just a South African problem. Zimbabweans are affected, and several other nationals from Africa are affected. And we are selling a one united Africa. So what is the African Union doing about this?
You're right in that direction. And I'm sure you also remember the Africa Free Continental Trade, AFCT, that is currently being in place, where they allow free movement of goods and persons for a specific number of time. And allowing xenophobia or xenophobia to continue runs counter to the African dream that we all want. However, in my opinion, this, I believe, is not or shouldn't just be left to South Africa alone. I've seen Ghana's action. I've also read about Nigerians' engagement with the South African Department of International Relations. I just feel that they have to find a way to find solution to this lingering, because it is not just about foreign nationals complaining or issuing statements. But like I did say, I think it makes sense, because if you stood with a brother in time of need, I think hearing that the same brother seems to be hurting or hunting your person is not a pleasing thing. However, it also diminished South Africa's international public image from how people perceived it. And remember, it's not just about how they try to manage it. These days, social media put things out there. So it is not good for either the African Union or South Africa themselves.
All right. Thank you so much, Organizational Development and Human Capital Strategist Oscar Mmetu. Sadly, we have to go now because we're short on time. Please do stay safe. And we definitely hope that, all the authorities necessary do everything they can to put this to an end. Thank you very much. And we'll be taking a quick break right now. And after the break, we will shift our attention to the political alignment ahead of the 2027 elections. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.